The energy system we have today is a whole bunch of different factors. A lot of it has to do with our natural resources, like the Columbia River, for instance, was a huge natural resource for us, and damming up those and creating the electricity, and with FDR in the New Deal and electrifying the rural areas. Having those dams then be able to bring electricity for the first time to people's lives was a huge deal.
Soon, the power of the Columbia was producing more than half the nation's supply of aluminum.
PacifiCorp is a regional utility that serves about 2 million customers in 6 western states. We started out more than a century ago primarily as a hydroelectric company. Hydro was what people looked to for power. In pioneer times, it was used to grind wheat and other grains. The force of moving water was a natural source of power when people began looking to electric power. And that was pretty early. You know, in the 1890s, people were using hydroelectric power to generate electricity. Other sources of power became more important. You know, coal was a resource of choice, and it provided a dependable and low-cost, dispatchable resource, you know, well into the 1950s. Then it was an expansion of renewable energies, typically wind and solar, particularly in the last 20 years.
Can you tell me what the current energy mix here in Oregon is? Where do we actually get our power from right now?
A little over 40% of it comes from hydro, and that goes up and down depending on how much water and how much rain and snowpack we have. Then the next biggest chunk is natural gas and coal. Pacific Power owns a lot of coal plants and imports the coal. We don't have any coal plants left in Oregon. Last one was Boardman, out in Boardman on the Columbia River, and it was shut down, I think, 2020. And then the next biggest resource is wind, followed by nuclear and then solar. We have one nuclear power plant left in the Northwest, and that's in Richland.
We own a vertically integrated generation, transmission, distribution network. That means we own much of the power that we use to generate electricity for our customers. We own the transmission system, and we own the distribution system. And so that gives quite a number of advantages in terms of our ability to control costs and also to produce highly reliable service. And we are one of the lowest cost energy providers in the nation.
Where they've had what we call legacy hydro, really old hydro that's very, very cheap, less than a cent per kilowatt hour to generate it. And some of those utilities have some of the lowest rates in the world.